What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching today, baby. All right, guys, I hope you all are doing well out there in the world. Today, I wanted to take a memory lane trip down about my past years involving or talking about. Sorry, I had a low battery sign. Talking about my steroid addiction, I guess you could call it. I do see some comments where some people are like, "Oh, talk about steroids," or like they're basically saying like you're on steroids right now, and I'm not. I mean, I guess you could consider it steroids. I do get testosterone prescribed by my doctor legally, and my testosterone is in the upper normal level ranges. And back in the day, they were not. They were much higher. So, all right, where do I start? So you guys don't know this version of me, but I used to be 130 pounds. I used to be skin and bones. I have a picture where my forearm was bigger than my biceps. I have these pictures and I'm going to show them to you guys. And that's just how I was all my life. I was always super, super scrawny. As you guys always hear me talk about how fast my metabolism is. It's just like I've always been the tall, skinny guy in the group. So I'm going to make a video going into my fitness transition because I have um, an amazing life changing 110 pound um, fitness lifestyle that I went from 130 pounds to 240 pounds, and I'm going to show you guys a detailed video showing the progression and what I was doing at the time to get there. So currently, as of right now, I'm sitting at about 215, 217, and this is usually where I've been basically for the past 5 or 10 years. And this has been on from hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy. Right now, I'm taking 160 milligrams a week prescribed by my doctor. Also, I wanted to let you guys know nothing on my channel is medical advice. Please do not take advice from the internet. Everything on my channel is for entertainment purposes only and for me to share my experience with you, okay, and my struggles with addiction. So, by no means am I glorifying steroids, or I'm not recommending anybody go down that lifestyle because it is a very challenging lifestyle to get out of, and it's a very dangerous lifestyle to be in. I know a lot of people that have died early. If you're into professional bodybuilding, the professional bodybuilders are dying like flies right now, guys. Like 40, 45 years old, they're just falling right off, falling flat. So it's uh, it's not as benign as we all wish that it would have been, right? So you can't just be pumping unknown chemicals into your body for 10, 20 years and not expect for there to be some kind of blowback. So this will be an unpopular video for people who enjoy the steroid lifestyle. I actually once made a steroid video on one of my other channels, and it had a whole bunch of thumbs down. And it's because, I mean, I get it. You know, when you're in that lifestyle, you don't want to hear anything negative about it. It's scary to think that way. There's so many people that will pump unknown amounts of chemicals into their body. They're getting the stuff that their buddy mixed in a basement. They have no idea what's going on with their blood levels. They never even get their blood levels checked. They never do like any blood pressure monitoring. They're just going off, just firing off into the air pretty much, rolling some major dice. And I know people that have done this for 10 years. Some people don't ever even come off a cycle, and that's Russian roulette, you guys. If you're doing that, and if you're in that lifestyle right now, you are going to have some major problems more than likely down the road. And I don't mean to laugh at you, because trust me, I've been young and dumb before. Um, I know that when I was in my early 20s, I didn't care about the risks. You know, you don't think about this stuff when you're in your 20s like you do when you're in your 40s. It's a whole different ballgame. Sorry, my throat is getting dry from talking. I've made a few videos tonight. So, where can I go from here? All right. So, starting back, I got into fitness when I was 21 years old. So, from birth till 21, I was always a skinny kid, never worked out, never cared about working out. I had the prettiest girlfriend I've ever had my whole life when I was a skinny little runt. She was like the perfect 10 out of 10. Like, I've never had a girl as pretty as her. So I'm not saying this to say that you can't get women if you're skinny and scrawny, because I'm the prime example, and that's exactly what I did. So I got really lucky that it wasn't the social media age that it is now, because I wouldn't have had her had she had Instagram. She would have had 10 million other guys. Back in my day, it was like you just kind of knew the people you knew through your crew and your friend group, and that's how I met her. And that was it. You know, you didn't have 10,000 options sitting there, people, guys trying to hit you up on Instagram all day. It wasn't like that back in the day. So lucky for me, there was no social media back in the day when I had her. But going on with what happened. So I had a couple of buddies named Mike and Matt, and they were twins, good looking kids, and they were really into the fitness lifestyle. And they weren't like crazy into steroids, but they were taking testosterone boosters and stuff, and they were really hitting the gym hard. And I just always remember when they would come around, they always had pretty girlfriends, as did I. And they were, you could just tell that the ladies loved the muscles, right? So um, what happened is, me and the girl that I'm referring to, the really pretty girl, we broke up, and she went for my buddy Matt. And I was just like, it was the worst feeling I'd have. Like, I was almost suicidal. I couldn't eat for days and days. I couldn't sleep. Like, I was so upset over this. I was walking in the mall by myself, and I looked over in the store, and I seen them together, and that's how I found out that they were dating. And I mean, he's a good looking dude, and he's jacked. Like, what am I going to do? Some little 130-pound twerp? You know what I mean? I'll never forget. I can picture it like it was yesterday. And this was 20 years ago, you guys. That's how big of a stamp it left on my life. I looked over, I was like, oh, really? You know, like, I mean, I was surprised I even dared to say that, because he could have kicked my butt like that. But I was just so pissed that I had to let them know that I seen them. So I did that, and I just stared at him for a minute, and I was just like, and then I walked off. Butt hurt, probably went and bawled my eyes out for a week. Um, that pain from that breakup was horrible, knowing that she got with him. I mean, he was a friend of mine, right? And he was a good looking dude, and he was jacked, and I was just some little torpy kid. So from that moment on, I was like, all right, you want to buff muscle, man? All right. So I hit the gym. I figured out I just hit the gym so hard, you guys. I used all that pain to my advantage, because I knew that when I put my mind to something, I was like, I can do that. I can do what he did and get buff. And that's exactly what I did. In fact, I passed him up, and we're actually buddies, and we laugh about this stuff today. But if it wasn't for him and her getting together, I likely never would have found my fitness lifestyle. And it's been the best addiction I've ever experienced, is being into physical fitness. I have met many good friends, and I've had many great relationships from women that I've met at the gym, all thanks to these two getting together and forcing me into the fitness lifestyle. So thanks, Callie. Matt, you guys doing that and I told her, I was like, hey, thanks for the body. We were joking about it. And I'm not trying to be vain or nothing, guys, but it's a funny joke that we can all laugh about today. So I went hardcore into the gym. I went from 130 pounds, and I'm going to post a picture right here so you can see 130 pounds. At 21 years old, and then I bolt up to 180 pounds within 3 months, guys. And I'll post a picture here. And I did that all natural. I put 50 pounds of lean mass. I don't want to say it was all muscle, because that's probably impossible. But if you would look at me, you would think that it was 50 pounds of solid muscle. I put this on all naturally. I was just eating whatever I could. Back then, I knew nothing about diet. healthy eating. All I knew is that I had to keep shoveling food in my mouth. The only kid that I even knew that was into working out back then, he was like, dude, just eat whatever you want. Go to Wendy's all day, get pizza, supersize everything. So that's what I did. And I'm lucky I didn't have a heart attack from doing that. I was just going to Wendy's, supersized. I remember smushing bananas in my mouth all night long until I was so full I was going to throw up. Like I would just put any type of food in my mouth. No idea what I was doing as far as like protein to carbs and healthy fats. I knew none of that stuff back then, guys. It's been such a long road to learn this stuff and how to eat properly for my body. So we're already at 10 minutes here. Let me speed it up here. Okay, so I maxed out at about 185 pounds naturally. I like hit a brick wall. And from going to gaining weight so fast, my first month I gained 30 pounds. And I'm not exaggerating. And you guys might not believe that, but it's the God's honest truth. I gained 30 pounds naturally my first month, 10 pounds the second month, and then 10 pounds the third month. So 50 pounds in 3 months. Okay. I maxed out there and I was like, this ain't enough. I need more. So then I reached out to my buddy. He gave us a shoebox full of what I found out later was trenbolone. Oh my goodness, guys. Stay away from trenbolone. That stuff killed my hairline fast. I mean, I knew I was destined to be bald, right? Like everybody on both sides of my family's bald. I always wear hats as it is. I've always worn hats since I was a kid. So that part wasn't like a hugest. I mean, it sucked. Don't get me wrong to go bald in your mid 20s, but I've been shaving my head for so long anyway. It's like whatever. So if you're getting into steroids, you will likely lose your hair, especially if your family is prone to losing their hair. You're just going to speed that up. You're going to speed that process way up. So took that cycle, lost a lot of my hair. I bulked up to like 205 from that first cycle, and I was pudgy and fat looking. But back then, and I'll post a picture right here. And but back then, I didn't care. All I cared about was the numbers on the scale were going up. I just wanted to be as big as possible. You know, I didn't, I didn't know how to eat. I thought I was actually in shape. But looking back now, I'm like, dude, I was a freaking blob. How did I not have a freaking heart attack from all the crap I was putting in my body? So okay, so from there, let's see, by that time I got up to like 205 when I was like maybe 23, 24. Um, and then where did I from there? Okay, so I kept bulking, guys. I kept bulking. I just wanted to get as big as possible. I bulked up to 230 and I was fat blob, and I'll post a picture here. Okay, and then from there, I got in my motorcycle accident, and that's what started my addiction to opiates. And then I dropped like 30 pounds in the first month. Like the weight was just falling right off of me, and I was so upset. I won't forget the way I looked in the mirror, and I just couldn't believe how fast the weight that I put on came off just so fast when I wasn't working out. So I dropped back down to like 200 pounds, and then from there I kind of started to, and I was like not a good looking 200 pounds when I once I was like done with my first month after my accident. I had a sling on because my collarbone was broken. So I just got back in the gym as soon as I could and just slowly started building my way back up. And then let's see, what did I do after that? I would say a few years later, I just kept trying to bulk as high as I could go. And I would take, like, my normal cycles would be like 500 milligrams of testosterone. So this is what I would do. I would do a cycle in the winter and a cycle in the summer, and then I would take some time off for spring and fall. So every winter I would do 500 milligrams of testosterone and like 25 to like maybe 40 milligrams of D-ball a day. And D-ball just gets you puffy, a lot of water weight, strong as heck. And that's what I would do. I bulked up to the heaviest was 240 pounds, and that was that's when I was huge, guys. Like I make this version of me look like not not very impressive. So and then in the summertime, what I would do is I would take 500 milligrams of test, and and then I'm talking about every week, 500 milligrams of test, and then I would take Anavar or Winstrol in the summer to like get my lean tone muscles and shredded, like get shredded in the summer months. So I would just really kind of do that for many years, guys. I never was the kind of person that would just stay on year round because I knew that that would just kill, like your guts were like fried at that point. Like your muscles and your body just overstimulated. You need to take some time off. But what would happen is like whenever I would come off, I would crash. My body would crash so hard, like right around like 6 to 8 weeks of being totally off of everything. Like my weight, my body, my shoulders would just deflate. Like I look like a whoopee cushion, just like that's how I refer to like, or like a snowman on a hot sunny day, just melting away. So what would happen is I would push myself 3 months off as hard as I could, and I would lose a lot of my gains, almost all of my gains, by the time I got back on the next cycle for summer or winter months, and then I would balloon back up, right? So it was a lot of that. So what I started doing after a while was I was like, why come all the way off? So then I would do what they would call blast and cruise, right? So I would do the same cycles, and then basically I would do a TRT, which is what I'm on now, just a really tiny dose of testosterone just to keep, because what happens is when you come off, you've told your body to stop producing natural testosterone when you're putting 500 milligrams of testosterone in your body every week. You're telling your brain to stop sending testosterone naturally, right? So when you stop putting that supplemental testosterone in, your body's like, what do you want me to do? You told me to turn off. So now it just crashes and burns, and then it has to try to build a new platform from the very bottom. It's very unhealthy to do that, to have your levels go so high and then so low. Okay, so I would start taking TRT, and that would keep me from crashing and losing all of my gains. I would lose quite a bit of them, obviously, but not all of them like I was before. So after, I mean, I did that, guys, probably for a good 10 years, maybe say from like say 22 to like 32, right around there, maybe around 30, maybe around about 30 years old. That's when I just said, you know what, like this isn't worth it anymore. I want to be in shape year round. I don't want the high fluctuations. Okay, so I went to my doctor. I stopped taking all the stuff that I was taking. I told him, hey, I've been experimenting with steroids for the last basically 10 years. I know that I'm going to need testosterone replacement therapy because I pretty much ruined myself now. And I went in and they tested me, and of course my testosterone levels were down in the dumps. And so he's like, "Yep, you have the testosterone of a 90-year-old man. So here's your prescription." And then we had to figure it out. Um, he freaking started me off the first month with one shot for 1 month. That, if your doctor does that to you, he's not know what he's doing. I was like, "Hey doc, what about if we tried doing it once a week?" And so that's what we got to end up working it out to. I do 150, 160 milligrams every 6 days. I find by after the sixth day, I can feel that something feels off in my body. There's a chemical like drop off, and I can feel it after It's like if I start to feel like there's something wrong, I'm like, what is going on? I know that there's nothing wrong, but something feels like it's wrong, and it's because I'm behind on my testosterone shot. So if you guys get on TRT, um, that TRT is pretty much like Suboxone for opiate addicts. Like it's something that a lot of people are going to need because you to just come all the way off steroids and just crash and burn, you might die. you need Your body needs testosterone if you're a male. Okay, so if you ruin your natural testosterone levels like I did with supplementing testosterone for many years, chances are, very good chances are, that you're going to need to be on testosterone replacement therapy for the rest of your life. So keep that in mind, guys, before you go jumping on the steroid cycle. I've never seen one person just take one steroid cycle and keep their gains and never go on again. It's always been the same thing. They take their cycle, they get big, they come off cycle, they lose all their weight, and then they get depressed and they hate how they look because they've experienced this huge high, right? It's very emotionally addictive because you're getting all this new validation from the opposite sex. Your family and friends are all telling you how good you look. You feel great. You feel strong. You feel awesome. And then when you stop taking your steroids, it's just a straight plummet. You go down over the next few months, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. So you start getting addicted to that validation, and then you take your next steroid cycle, and then the cycle repeats for many years. If you're really crazy and really stupid, then you'll take steroids year round, and you're pretty much rolling major dice if you're doing that to yourself. Like your blood levels have got to be in the trash can. If you guys are taking steroids year round, cycles year round, and you never come off, you're going to be early death guaranteed, guys. Side note, if you're taking TRT, if you've taken steroids in the past, just go. It's a simple blood test, CBC. Any doctor can do a simple CBC test. See where your body's at. There's many indicators in that simple test that can tell your doctor if there's something really wrong with your body. For many people, they're afraid to know if there's really a deeper issue, but that's not a good way to go, you guys. Don't be afraid. A lot of things can correct over time. You can get on TRT from your doctor and stop abusing steroids as soon as possible. A lot of people have their fun in their 20s, and then when they get in their 30s, they start to mature a bit. And then hopefully, but before you get to your 40s, hopefully you're out of that lifestyle. If you're still blasting steroids in your 40s and 50s, then not a good way to go, guys. You need to mature and grow out of that type of lifestyle. I'm not saying you need to get out of fitness because obviously I'm way addicted to fitness. I want to be working out when I'm 100 years old. I hope I'm still lifting weights and in shape. So it's one thing to be in shape, but it's one thing to be like blown out like that. You guys don't need to be like that when you're older, right? You can still be in shape, and I mean, I feel like I've got a pretty dang good body. I have this body year round, more or less. I fluctuate 5 or 10 pounds, but more of the time, if you look at my videos, I'm usually always somewhere right around here, and that's with the help of TRT. That definitely will help you be able to maintain a decent physique and keep your testosterone levels, keep your sex drive normal because you need testosterone to have a sex drive. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about steroid stuff, feel free to, there's a link in my description box if you need to have a private conversation with me about any of this stuff. I've been in the fitness game for over 20 years. I've talked to many, 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 many people that have done separate cycles, Winstrol, like trend, everything. I have experience with all that stuff, Masterone, all that stuff. There's just so many different things, that DECA, all that crap. Like I know a lot of things that go into that. You guys should also get your calcium score checked, and that's going to basically tell you that if you're on your way to having a heart attack. It'll check if you have plaque in your arteries and around your heart. And literally, I can go to my local hospital for $60 and get a $60 heart scan, and it will tell me. And I was really luckily, happily surprised when I did this heart scan that my calcium score was 0 out of like 400. And how it works is they'll do a CT scan of your heart. see if there's any buildup in the arteries around. If you have used steroids or testosterone, or if you've had addiction issues, or if your family has had a history of heart attacks and strokes, then you need to have this test done. It's a simple 5-minute test. You just stand there, it scans around you, and then they send you a detailed printout in like a week and tells you if you have any calcium or plaque in your around your heart, guys. So please, if you've been in that lifestyle, if you know people in your family that have died from heart attacks or strokes, go have this test done, because it can save your life for $60, and that's without insurance. If you have insurance, it's probably free. Calcium heart scan, that's all it is, guys. So if you guys are in this steroid addiction right now, just try to get out as soon as you can. I know it's very hard to come back down to reality, but you can't live up in the clouds forever. Superman has to hang up his cape someday. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. So if any of you guys are interested in doing a total body transformation like I did, or maybe you just need some help going from fat to fit, whether that's naturally or enhanced, I'd be more than happy to help you guys. Feel free to check out the description box. That will include a link to my clarity.fm account, and you can set up a private phone call with yours truly, and we can look and see where you're at and make adjustments to get you to where you want to be, guys.